In a world crawling with spirits, one boy can talk to them. His skills landed him in a 5-hero squad that crushed the Demon King. A boy with this unique power is called the Universe. The Kingdom of Fools stretches below, dominated by a massive castle, the ultimate symbol of its power. Shocked, the dark-haired guy frantically demands answers, wondering why his colleagues are acting so strange. The hero who crushed the Demon King glares, backed by the team that fought through hell with him. A stern armored man declared he's no ally, he just manages the magic devices. Fixing her lipstick, the blonde agreed, calling the guy a total loner who never talks during hikes. A teammate chimes in, her power making her look down on the world with a gaze more intense than any knight's. Panicked and stuttering, the boy admits he's socially hopeless, but insists he's giving the job his all. Smirking, the hero claims he's clueless. His condescending gaze shows zero pity for the kid, and it's becoming painfully obvious. The universe froze. His team's insults were relentless, calling him useless since he'd done absolutely nothing special. Confused, he asks about his spirit horse. The hero rolls his eyes, clearly up to something sinister. The blonde strides to the horse, arms wide. Smirking, he claims anyone can win with an assistant like this. He kicked the magic horse, calling it worthless iron. Even the universe was stunned by his betrayal. He bolts to his creation, screaming, "Trans." He eagerly begs the world's savior to finally end the mockery. He grabs the nun-like girl's arm without thinking, but she immediately glares at his hand in disgust. She swings instantly, striking him between the legs and leaving him in unbearable pain. Agony forced the boy to his knees, paralyzing him with non-stop pain as the girl hissed a cold insult. She warned him, "Don't touch." She hates being handled by people she dislikes, and her face screams pure disgust. Unable to stand, the boy reaches for the horse at the savior's feet, asking if this trance is normal. Hero just smiled, saying universe puts itself before the team. The blonde was disgusted. His face shifts as an idea strikes. He looks up and tells the boy not to worry, they'll fix him just like this pathetic loser. Universe woke up late, battered on a massive pile of trash and junk. He wakes up to a sky choked with dark clouds, even the weather is against him. Clutching his face, rage warped his features. Fighting back tears, he remembered every hero's vital role. Hero takes the throne for his princess. The warrior leads the army, the priestess rises as a saint, and the sorceress becomes a sage. Not even the universe knew. Soon, he was researching and repairing magic gear. Surrounded by books and flasks, the boy studies magic where every tool has a purpose. Patting the transformer, the boy cheers that it's finally fixed. It'll soon run like new, leaving the stunned crowd clueless about his strange tech. He walked the hall alone, ignoring the crowd and lost in thought while clutching a folder like it held something vital. Walking down the hall, something on the wall catches his eye, forcing him to stop and investigate. A plain bulletin board hung on the wall, but dead center was a poster of the white-haired hero who just mocked the world. He smiles at the poster like nothing happened, then checks on Typhon, only to find she's getting married. He hoped to visit the girl today, but a coworker stopped him. The Lord was looking for him. He enters the office, and without even dropping his papers, the boss glances up and fires him instantly. He froze, legs vanishing into the abyss, completely blindsided. Universe asks why Got Swan is like that. The boss kicks back, admitting he hates the guy because he talks to the machines while fixing them. He tries to explain, but nerves make him stammer about the spirit inside the magical device. Gutsven cuts him off, demanding he speak up. The boss is sick of the mumbling, and coworkers moan that the world's turned cold. The man clearly wasn't listening, but the worker kept pushing, desperate to save his job. Gatsuin hounded the boy, vowing to scrub the universe's name from his inventions and replace it with his own. Clients loved his universes and tech, scoring the product a top-tier rating. Grimacing, he claims he's becoming an official, mocks an apology, and thanks them for the work. Kids play and adults bustle under the sun, but the universe is miserable, dragging its feet in a dark mood. He sighed in relief, already hunting for a new job that actually fit his skills. He overhears two girls gossiping. Today, the Wind Spirit Princess finally weds the savior who defeated the Demon King. He remembered his thoughts in the hall. He'd totally forgotten Typhon's wedding. Under perfect skies, massive crowds gather to watch the hero marry the Wind Spirit Princess. Only elite guests gathered at the hilltop square's arch and bell, but the Wind Spirit looked visibly troubled. Darkness fell and the world froze, mesmerized by the bride. Typhon looked incredible. Smiling at the ceremony, the boy wishes the princess true happiness. The hero squad's scarf-wearing girl shouts the news. Today, the Wind Spirit Princess and the world-saving hero are getting married. The universe fought to stay calm, but anxiety wouldn't let go. These spirits live to help. For them, pledging loyalty is the ultimate honor. He refused to look down on spirits, especially those who swore him loyalty. The princess is visibly fuming, staring at the floor and refusing to even look at her fiancé. Typhon looked worried, but with her husband becoming a national hero, everyone understood. Suddenly, something in the crowd caught her eye. She beamed at the guests. radiating more genuine affection for them than her own fiancé. She froze, pure shock instantly wiped the sadness from her face. The universe glanced at the princess, he swore they just locked eyes. The wind creature scanned the crowd from the edge, doubting its own eyes. Was it just seeing things? He scanned the area, tracking her gaze to see what she found. Their eyes lock and his heart swells. Grinning through the nerves, he gives a shy wave. A sudden gale levels the crowd and flips the hero as something rockets into space, blasting everything in its path. It's the princess, she's sprinting full tilt, practically flying and ignoring everything in her way. The crowd is stunned as the wind princess charges straight for him. His cloak failed, he's been found. Tears stream down her cheeks, but a sudden gust snatches them away the moment they hit her chin. Blushing, she's finally closing in on her goal. Confused, the boy spreads his arms to catch the princess falling right at him. She tackled him with a joyful hug, nearly knocking him off his feet. The typhoon swirls, blasting people off their feet with roaring gusts that prove nature's raw power. Sobbing, she asks how he's still alive, leaving him completely baffled by her logic. The wind spirit reveals the hero's warning. The universe vanished mid-campaign. Nearby, the princess's fiancé lies in the square, paralyzed by shock. Tiffin weeps, claiming marriage is pointless if the universe is alive. Her spiraling emotions make the wind howl in response. He watches as massive gusts sweep everything away, decorations, bushes, and even the guards. While the crowd stood stunned, the princess grabbed Universe's hand and told him none of it mattered. She grabbed his hands, eyes full of hope, and begged him to run away, leave it all behind, and find freedom. The wind spirit yanks the boy aside. No time to think, the guards are closing in fast. Determined, Typhon scoops up Universe and bolts from the wedding, leaving the stunned groom clinging to her shoulders in total shock. He grimaced as the guests and the savior sat on the floor, reeling from the shock. Petals swirl as the hero glares at his fiancée, suddenly consumed by rage. His eyes turn bloodshot, his jaw clenches, and he's about to snap. Drowning in rage and despair, he screamed insults at the entire world. He signaled the crowd, ordering them to seize the universe's boldest girl. The spirits froze. How dare he show such contempt? A spirit snaps, shrieking the hero's name as he flees. 87. Breben's confused, but the spirit won't ignore the talk about his fiancée. Universe and Typhon bolt into the city but get stopped by Braben's wedding carriage. Universe freezes, eyeing the sign on the roof. Approaching Typhon's device, the universe recognizes its creation in the cart's horse. It's Trans, the boy's friend. Tiffin boards the carriage as Universe pets the horse. Surprised, she asks how he already knows the animal. He reveals it's his first handmade magic tool. It served the hero's party until the Demon King fell, but the girl spots a different name carved on the horse. The magic horse's inscription names its creator, Gatsun, former ruler of the universe. The boy's fuming even though it was his idea. The girl yanks him from the horse and tells him to get on. The boys hop in the cart and speed off, fleeing the danger. Despite its magic, the horse acts totally normal, clopping along like any ordinary beast. The universe wondered why the horse was silent, maybe its voice module was off. The boy vowed to fix it and erase that inscription. Mounted knights charge, hunting the carriage carrying the princess and universe. Guards swarm the carriage. Typhon alerts the boy, but he already sees the danger. Tyrion frustrated, she shouts that at this pace, they'll catch the group in no time. The boy couldn't believe it. The trans was built from the universe's best parts, it should be way faster. He looks at the girl, but she's just as confused. He realizes the trance uses earth spirits, but Typhon is wind. These elements clash, crippling the spell. She understood, but there's no time to think. A chariot guard is closing in on the princess. 103. Typhoon blasts a massive vortex, sweeping everything away. The guard has nowhere to run. His cart flips as he screams. The girl tosses the reins and the boy snags them perfectly. He doesn't even unhitch the cart, he just leaps straight onto the horse's back. The universe leaned on the horse, praised its work, and ordered the earth spirits inside to grant his wish. Muffled voices echo from inside the horse as earth spirits recognize a familiar call and answer back. Tiny gnomes rush to greet them, ecstatic to see their old friend. They vaulted onto the horse, whining to the world about being exhausted from the self-proclaimed hero's constant writing demands. Meeting their master, the earth spirits surge with power and vanish to prove their worth. The horse suddenly hits a new gear, its cart kicking up dust and obliterating everything in its path. Typhoon grips his chair, joyfully screaming to the universe that they're moving way too fast. Guards block the road to stop the escape, but the magic horse doesn't flinch and charges straight through. He smashed the soldiers and their carts skyward, sending them crashing back down with a massive rumble. The force launches Typhon's cart and sends Universe flying, horse and all. Back on the ground, they bolt forward. The princess and boy barely hold on, clinging for dear life. Typhoon cheered and waved in pure joy, screaming how incredible it was while pushing the horse to go even faster. She bumps a button, unknowingly triggering a mechanism. The wedding sign for Raven rises higher as a pipe behind her explodes, scattering debris everywhere. Stunning petals drift onto Typhon in the void, a magical sight that forces everyone to look up in pure awe. 120. But wait, ornate ribbon devices spill from the carriage, hitting the ground with a loud, beautiful chime. A bizarre sight, wind spirit Typhon steered the wedding carriage while the universe followed on horseback, the flowery coach racing forward to a melody. Pastors across the street couldn't ignore the spectacle. Even the skeptics turned, hooked by the melody. The crowd froze, whispering. They recognized the hero and spirit princess's wedding carriage, but a random kid was in the saddle, not the hero. They soared past the stunned crowd, but Typhon didn't care. She was having a blast, giggling like a kid. Curiosity backfired. The carriage's insane speed created wind blasts that knocked onlookers off their feet. 126. iPhone beams with pure joy, lighting up the world while the universe smiles back, proud to see her happy. Earth spirits rewrite the framed wedding plaque, catching the entire universe by surprise. Earth spirits reveal their work to the cosmos, marked by a sign, the carriage of love for the universe and its friends. A majestic spirit confronts Brabin, demanding he answer for his harsh words. He repeated the hero's insults to the princess, reeling in shock and unable to believe his own ears. He snaps at Brabin, warning him never to disrespect the wind spirit princess. Even for a legendary hero, this is unforgivable. The hero clicked his tongue in disgust, hating the disrespect. This whole situation was a joke to him. He didn't even see these spirits as human, so he gave them zero respect. At the exit, he turns back. Forget this, we need to catch that beast and conquer the universe. The wind spirit refuses to calm down, demanding a target if not the universe. Brabin's irritation is obvious. This kid just won't back down. He asks, didn't the hero say the universe is dead? The boy freezes, listening in silence. He mocked the spirit with eye rolls and mumbling, but the boy ignored him, rushing to the others to celebrate seeing the universe. Brabin arrogantly scoffs at the non-human talk, declaring universals the most disgusting trash in the world. The spirits snapped back to Brabin in unison, their faces twisting with a terrifying mix of shock and pure rage. They rushed the hero, demanding why he insulted their friend. Caught off guard, he fumbled for an excuse. The wind spirit roars. Typhon only married Brabin for fate and the fallen, but it was all a massive lie. He promised an investigation, but the hero's trust is dead. Brabin seethed, baffled by their obsession with this universe. The spirits vanish, warning that if the universe lives, the hero is doomed. Brabin watches them go, stunned. Typhon and his partner ditched their pursuers in the woods. Typhon gasped for air while the girl hopped out of the carriage, beaming. Earth spirits wept with joy. Their master was alive, even though everyone thought he was dead. The universe pats a spirit's head in thanks. Typhon watches, smiling contentedly. She watched him pet the earth spirits with suspicion, secretly craving that same affection but too afraid to ask. Reading her gaze, he patted her head and thanked the wind spirit. The princess beamed, her unusual ears twitching with joy. The universe approved, but later asked if ditching her wedding was worth it. She pouts, mind made up. She didn't run off with a guy, she escaped with the universe. He has no idea how his disappearance wrecked her. Blushing, the princess looked down and struggled to speak, but finally dared to confess her love for the universe. Clueless, the boy smiles and says he loves her too, sending her into a blushing, screaming panic. Earth spirits stare at the boy, waiting for his words. The universe senses their desire and confesses its love, while Typhon glares at him with resentment. Blushing, she curses the universe and swings a punch, while he desperately tries to shield himself. Suddenly, she grabs his collar and leans in. Tearing up, she admitted she was just glad the universe survived. The kind-eyed boy lets the princess lean on him, feeling her trust and thanking her once more. Typhon cools off and sits. Universe asks for the plan, but since she's clueless, she asks the boy what he wants to do. He needed to pull himself together first. He felt like total trash. 159. Universe touches the horse's mark. Fire spirits made this, so only an equally powerful water spirit in Konkontaver can erase it. Typhoon excitedly joins the boy. He asks if she's sure about leaving home, but the princess is confident. The wind spirits will track her down regardless. She asks one last time to go with him, and he admits he could never say no. Fist raised, the princess declares it's go time. First stop, the land of water spirits. Victory is waiting. A gloved boy scours the papers, finds a lead he hates, and snaps, crushing the page as if it's the source of all his problems. Brainban laughs like a maniac, chanting his plan for universal conquest. Humiliation finally broke him, or maybe he was always this insane. Typhon leaned down with a warm smile, thanking the earth spirits and gushing over the chance to meet them. The wind princess's sudden call stuns the earth spirits. Terrified, they barely manage a greeting. The universe calms the group, telling Typhon that if the girl joins him, she must bond with all spirits, regardless of their element. He sets his conditions. She agrees instantly, and they hit the road. The universe forced a halt. She stared at him, shocked by another delay. He tells Typhon to swap clothes, that wedding dress draws way too much attention. She agrees and bolts to the carriage to change, too hyped to waste a single second. He's stunned by the noise. She's changing so loud it sounds like she's trashing the carriage. Universe X finished his greetings and prepped for the trip, but Typhon's loud shouting stopped him cold. Princess flexes her new outfit, winking at the boy and fishing for his approval. The universe spots the princess's magic bracelet and asks if it's the same one from before. Typhoon admires her bracelet, a gift from the universe. The boy smiles, but her anxious look says she's holding something back. Hands clasped, she asks him again how she looks, desperate for a compliment from the one guy who matters. He complimented her stunning look, and she beamed with a genuine smile. She's nervous in her new outfit, but his words instantly calm her down. He confirms it's the first time he's ever seen her like this. Blushing, the princess confesses she wants him to see every side of her on this journey. She waves, pointing to the carriage full of outfits and asking if he wants a change. Universe stops to think. They step inside and realize this is no ordinary carriage. It's a massive hall pulsing with magic. He's stunned. It's not a room, it's a massive palace. Why the overkill? Is he honeymooning with 8 princesses? Suddenly, a girl at the door. Tiffin enters the massive bedroom, marches to the wardrobe and swings it open. It's packed with gear. The wardrobe was packed with eye-popping, high-end luxury items. The excited wind creature asks about the outfit, but the boy hates it and tells it to stop. Outside, the couple sees the carriage interior is solid, but the exterior is trashed. They need a cover, but where will they find the materials? The universe spotted the dense forest, and Typhon promised the spirits would share their bounty. The princess beats her chest, bravely demanding it since wind and forest spirits are allies. She grabs her axe and rushes to the trees, determined to seek their help. Disaster strikes. After talking to the spirits, Typhon grabs the axe and trudges toward the universe, head bowed and wilted. Typhon warns the boy to quit because hurting spirits means failure, leaving the girl crushed. The universe followed her to the trees, gambling on a lucky negotiation. He stops at a tree, eyeing it closely as the breeze rustles the leaves. He smiled up at the towering tree, greeting the forest spirits for their blessing. Spirits whisper from the tree like Lord Universe is right there. The boy asks how they know him, and they reveal every tree in the land knows his name. A forest spirit appears, revealing the trees share info through their connected roots. The universe makes a bold request. It needs to chop wood without offending the spirits. Spreading its branch arms, the forest spirit marveled at the truth. Most people just cut and take without ever asking permission. He realized humans can't see spirits, and to the universe, Typhon isn't anything special. The forest spirit speaks for the timber-claiming trees are strong, durable, and proud to serve humanity. The sharp, balanced axe shreds hard wood like paper. Log on the stump, the boys start chopping. Universe holds it steady as Typhon delivers a massive axe swing. The boys and earth spirits nail the boards to the base, restoring the carriage. Work's done, high fives all around. Everything's ready and they're proud of what they built. The universe spoke for everyone. The work was a masterpiece. She leaps up, fist high, looking happier and more emotional than every spirit in the universe. Spotting chains on a carriage post, the boy asks Typhon what they're for in shock. She looked up, her face twisted in pure disgust. She explains these shackles force failing spirit servants to repent, and Breben is absolutely thrilled. The boy snaps that a hero even thinking that is disgusting, while Typhon hangs on every word. She beamed the exact answer she wanted, but Universe was clueless. Why was she laughing? Did he mess up? The princess says this world treats spirits like worthless trash, but she's glad the universe is different, smiling warmly at him. He insists every life is valuable, no matter their social class. He even respected forest spirits, making her admire his kindness and thank fate for meeting him. The wind spirit flashed a radiant smile, thanking the universe for every soul she met on her journey. Her words hit home, and her smile made him look away awkwardly. He awkwardly turns away, telling her it's time to go. She beams, instantly asking to lead the way. Isolation weakened this magic horse, turning a one-day trip into a 3-day slog. 3 days minimum if they're lucky, but an armored figure is already waiting at the carriage. Breben's knights track the bride and her companion, instantly reporting the carriage's location to their superiors. Typhon sensed trouble and alerted the universe, but he caught on too. 223 inches from the border, Kingdom Knights surround the fugitives, cutting off their escape. Typhoon and Universe had to blast through. Retreat was no longer an option. Universe turns to his horse, pleading for help. He calls on the earth spirits and they're all in. The carriage surges forward as the boys race ahead. Sun at their backs, knights in the carriage close in. Guards swarm the carriage as Typhon and Universe lean in, ready for the collision. They smash through the barrier as the princess leaps onto the roof, firing wind blasts for a massive speed boost. She sits, thanks the universe, and tells Trans to floor it, but he spots something ahead and locks in. A wall suddenly blocks the border exit, blending perfectly into the familiar rocky hills. It wasn't a wall, it was a mass of spears rigged to skewer any horse that charged. Typhoon's panicked, she warns the trance is useless now. The boy gets a genius idea and calls on the wind spirit's power to end this. Shouting over the roar, he suggests using wind power to launch the crew skyward. Stunned and confused, she whispers she can't do it. The universe wouldn't back down, begging the girl to try and putting everything on her. Flustered by the universe's warm words, she agreed to help, unable to ignore his persistent plea. She cups her hands and screams, summoning the wind spirits for help. Hearing her trembling voice, tiny lights swarm like magnets, flooding the world with a blinding glow. The princess reaches out, accepting the spirit's aid for her grueling journey. Typhon glared at the universe, nearly crying from frustration. She snapped, fuming that this was nowhere near enough for such a massive task. He wouldn't quit to win, he'd gather every wind spirit. He raises a finger, suddenly remembering something. He raises a finger, using his spirit tamer skill to summon the wind spirits instantly. His desperate plea for help echoed from his soul. The space proposal roared for hundreds of meters, instantly alerting the spirits. They stood frozen, waiting for a sign, until one spirit finally snapped and asked if the universe was calling. Hundreds of spirits swarm, all asking one thing: did the universe really call them? Typhon and her ally watched in shock as glowing lights drifted toward him at his call. Wind spirits suddenly swarm the boy and the stunned princess. Shocked by the massive response, he quickly refocuses and tells Typhon to keep going. Annoyed, she pouted and reluctantly agreed. She asks the nearby spirits to lift their cart, they desperately need the help. Wind spirits swirled around the carriage, forming an enchanting cloud that radiated pure freedom and charm. Hyped and ready, the boys are already prepping for the flight. Seconds later, the carriage lifts off, powered by the world's mysterious spirits. Suddenly, the carriage and trance soar skyward, clearing all obstacles to escape the kingdom. 259. The soldiers look up in shock as the carriage soars high above them. The boys soar over the barrier, leaving the guards shouting in shock. They've never seen a car fly. Typhon soaks in the view while Universe breathes easy. They finally shook their pursuers. He freezes as a flicker spikes his anxiety. Something's wrong, is this just a coincidence? The Universe noticed. Typhon gently takes her hand. He asks why she's acting weird, but she just blushes, too flustered to explain. She had a brilliant idea. Typhon warned of the danger, but she refused to let the universe die, blushing as she looked away. He smiles and thanks her, lifting the hand he's already gripping tight. Typhona beamed like a kid with a new toy, her face glowing with pure joy. Universe looks ahead proudly while Typhon smiles. She doesn't care about flying, only that he's holding her hand, even without roads in the sky. 269. Endless freedom awaits as their carriage soars like a ship, leaving the kingdom and its troubles far behind. Meanwhile, the royal palace is rocked by events that will change the kingdom's fate forever. Inside a lavish hall, a grim meeting convenes over Typhon's kidnapping. The future king grits his teeth, demanding to know why the bride and her kidnapper are still missing. The magic minister tells everyone to relax, his high-tech soldiers are already guarding the border. Now they wait. Brayden sighs in relief, but rage and worry still haunt his face. A soldier bursts in. Princesses Typhon and Universe breach the border and are already long gone. Shocked by the news, Hatsven bolts up and slams the table in a rage. He asks how, and the knight admits they just flew past the gear and guards. The minister calls it nonsense, insisting carriages can't fly. He asks if the knight is enchanted, but the knight shuts him down with a firm denial. The future king slams the table, shouting he understands nothing. Ryabin realized Typhon used wind to blast their carriage skyward. Gatswin covered his mouth and stammered an agreement, even though he had no clue what was happening. Hand on heart, he reminds them the minister created this magic horse. Braben mocks Hatsuan for letting them escape, demanding to know his next move. After an awkward beat, the minister admits he just wanted to hype up the horse, leaving Brabant totally baffled. He laughed, saying he loves this zombie hunt. Hakuin floods the world with bounty postcards, sparking a global hunt for the head of the universe. Brabanda waits to collect his prize before meeting Typhon. The future king slams the table again, terrifying Gotson, who fears punishment for his failed plan. Breben praises the minister, grinning as he calls the idea wonderful. Gatswin exhaled. He craved Brabant's approval, and sharing his thoughts had him terrified. Search alerts were live. Brabin hit peak shame. Princess Typhon just vanished with the entire universe. Arms crossed, he expected a quick win. Proud of his work, a sly grin broke across his face. Next day, the streets are packed and life returns to normal. Breben sped through the streets, eager to see the town's reaction to the search for Typhon's kidnapped bride. Residents watched the announcement, but something was off. A second poster just appeared next to Gotswin's. Locals are stunned by two posters, a cosmic hunt for Typhon and a search for a kidnapper who snatched a princess from her wedding. The photos look nothing alike. On a poster Breben didn't make, Typhon smiles beside her friend. Rank 296, the future king frozen horror. He's completely blindsided. Breben looked like a joke arguing with Kerr. The papers were stumped, leaving everyone to debate the truth. They claim the princess wasn't kidnapped, just ran off. The heroine's fuming, barely holding back her rage. The men wouldn't stop, mocking Raven as a weakling who was too pathetic to keep his own fiancée. The townspeople roar, claiming they'd do better, while the girls and women nearby explode with laughter. 301, the hero screams in horror, how dare they call him weak. He storms the palace, slams the office door open, and demands the goth. 303, he was expected, not by his minister but by a massive army of Typhon's spirits. Breben enters and they demand answers. The ghost holds the same posters found in the town square. They corner the hero, realizing he knew the universe was alive all along. Now they demand the truth. What does the announcement mean by find out if he's alive? 306, chaos erupts. Braben's a fraud, not a hero, and Vort is the one commissioned to paint Princess Typhon. The Spirit King's gonna snap over this heartless kid. Their Typhon alliance is toast. Let's see how Breben handles the fallout. 308, livid, Breben mocks the spirits, claiming they're overreacting and the alliance isn't worth trashing. Overwhelmed, he spreads his arms wide, calls the universe shameless, and roars with laughter. The hero snaps, threatening to instantly level the spirit country and bury them all in a mass grave. Typhon's insulted guards stormed out, leaving the useless kid alone. He sighed in relief and rolled his eyes. He should have just done it sooner to skip the useless talk. He did it, racing through the castle halls to a distant door. He enters a dark office to find a crowned man holding a letter from the beyond. Their alliance is dead. Stunned by the sudden move, the boy freezes while the king demands an explanation. Breben justifies the carnage as the price for the minister's arrogance and the sins of all spirits. The silent man cuts him off, silencing Brabendu with a single word. He stood like a scolded child, staring at his father in shock, unable to grasp why the punishment was so severe. With the demon lord dead, the world bows. Now they just need to crush the spirits to forge a global empire, and they aren't letting this chance slip away. The king scraps the spirit daughter's engagement too. Breben watches in shock, powerless to calm him down. Clenching his fist, the king snaps, "Agree, or I'll fix the alliance myself and kick my worthless son out." Breben reaches his father's office, but the massive door slams shut, leaving him trapped, alone, and confused. Stunned and hurt, he couldn't grasp why his father called him worthless and pathetic. Spirits surround the hero, looking down on him with pure disdain. They can't even stand to look at him. He bows low, showing deep respect and sincere repentance. He choked out a desperate apology, begging forgiveness for his insults. Masking his inner rage, he swore this pathetic universe wouldn't take Princess Typhon. She was his everything. The spirits just laughed. One stepped forward, demanding a real apology for them all. The hero looked up fuming, then quickly forced a strained smile to hide his rage. He refuses to apologize. If they won't bow, they get nothing. They demand sincerity but show zero respect. Furious, the spirits plotted to strip his hero title and demanded he apologize to everyone. Veins popping, the hero bit his lip, struggling to hold back. Did they really see him as trash? He didn't dare ask. Hands shaking, he hits the floor, taking the apology stance the spiritual servants demand. Face down on the floor, he vows to reclaim the universe for his home, apologizing and begging to keep the alliance. The spirit chief snaps, Breben must apologize to the universe and Princess Typhon, the ones who ruined his life. Forcing him to beg his tormentors for mercy only fuels his rage. He looks up, vowing to apologize back home. Doing it now is pointless, they can't even hear him. A spirit says it's time to apologize, but the hero's words better be sincere. Breben gritted his teeth, feeling mocked, apologizing to these nobodies, pure humiliation. He's sure they're gone and can't hear a word. He asks if an apology saves the alliance. The minister stands tall, snapping that unlike him, the spirits actually keep their word. Cooling down, the boy admits he's wrong and stops forcing Typhon, promising no more blame as he begs her to return. The spirits freeze, blindsided by the secret truth about the princess and Breben. Realizing he'd said too much, the boy bit his lip until it bled, but the hero didn't even blink. He begged him to return, claiming he was wronged, and promised to fire Gatsunen and make him a minister. Nervous for his first apology, the hero's eyes turn bloodshot as suppressed rage bursts his capillaries. Hero forces a smile as souls swarm a strange device, cheering for their perfect outcome. Desperate, Brabant asks about the device. The spirit reveals it's a magic transmitter broadcasting every word to the universe. Unlike photos, this device captures motion and sound, and right now it's playing Brabant's apology. Spirits vanish, leaving the hero stunned. The crew plans to leak the recording to every nation through their journalist friend. He leaps up like a beast, snarling and charging the spirits as they flee in terror. He snatched the minister's magic device to destroy it. If the secret leaked, his reputation was toast. The spirits glared, snatching the device, and stunned by his audacity, Brabant desperately cried out he'd been framed. The spirits leave in peace, but the hero is still panicking. He begs them to delete that cringe apology video. Spirits gone, Breben collapses like a toddler, thrashing on the floor and screaming for an immediate cleanup. The fugitives roll through a swampy territory as Typhon spots a pond ahead. She jumps with joy, showing her friend the sparkling lake as the universe smiles on this perfect moment. Vampu is famous for its scenic lakes, including the world's largest, a body of water so massive it looks like a sea. Hearing the news, she's hyped and demands to see the spectacle. The universe realizes Typhon is the wind spirit princess who's never even left home. He agrees to the detour, and the princess beams, thanking the universe and trans for the ride. They spot a tourist poster, but behind it lies a massive, breathtaking lake. Typhon charges straight for it. Lakeside, the party's roaring. Drinks flow, food grills, and music blast across the beach. She's shocked by the chill as swimmers pass the lake path. The universe wants out but stays silent for Typhona. Fired up, the princess urged the boy to keep going and enjoy the night like everyone else. 365. Mid-fun, a dangerous man calls out from behind, forcing the guys to stop and face him. The hatted man puffs his cigar, telling the duo to stay put and stop rushing. Lake boss Elokvet demands 10,000 enda per person, barbecue gear included. That's 20,000 for the pair up front. 368. Typhon and the universe are stunned. Why so expensive? The boy gasps. He smirked, saying heroes always pay the price. 370. Time froze. Hero merch is a total ripoff, and he quickly tallied the insane cost of Braben's posters and plaques. He asks if the universe is a child with 20,000 ends. Met with silence, he just sighs. Loke's insulting offer, half off for a girl in a swimsuit plus a gift if she's a beauty. Typhon had a plan. Eyes gleaming, she reshaped the entire universe. She told him to wait and bolted back to their carriage. Lekwet and universe wait until the princess arrives, apologizing for the delay. Shaylee flaunts her new swimsuit after a quick change. The manager is thrilled, her friend is stunned, and the fit highlights her figure perfectly. 377. Quat weeps at the beauty, gives a double thumbs up, and clears the guys to have fun. Typhoon struts ahead humming, while the boy trails behind, scanning the area. At the beach, every guy stares at the girl, ignoring her companion entirely. They surround her, firing off questions about her home and if she's alone. One guy even asks if spirits really serve humans and what she likes. She breaks free and hugs the stunned universe, declaring she serves only him. He looked away, realizing he'd been too harsh. Shocked, he watches the group glare and instantly scatter across the beach. Typhoon clung to Universe's arm, beaming over her announcement, while he exhaled in relief, one less problem down. He says it's time to go, and she smiles, satisfied. Smiling sweetly, she suggests they walk and enjoy the view since they're already here. Noticing the guys still pointing and whispering, he agreed with the girl and they calmly walked away. 388. Reaching the lake, Typhon was stunned. She'd never seen a view this beautiful. The water felt cool and pleasant, but the universe warned her, don't get too close or you'll get dirty. He explained his work clothes reeked of oil. Unfazed, the princess knows this proves the universe and spirits are working together. Satisfied, she presses closer as he stammers her name. A loud stomach growl cuts them off. She's starving. Typhoon looks away embarrassed, but the boy stays calm, realizing their growling stomachs haven't seen food since dawn. Since they're here, he suggests hitting the barbecue. She agrees, visibly impatient to finally taste something delicious. The couple hit the barbecue tables to start cooking. They grabbed mazan, a complex mix of ingredients. Typhoon finished the prep while he was busy at the grill. As the coals smolder, the boy reveals he's already prepped a grill. He slaps the meat on the grill, and the savory aroma hits instantly. The food smelled so incredible, even the neighboring tables couldn't look away. Meat, fish, and shrimp sizzle, dripping onto crackling coals with a mouth-watering aroma. 404. The nearby group drooled over the food but stayed back, refusing to look like beggars. Universe serves Typhon her food, warning her it's piping hot. Eager for a taste, she thanks him. She forks a piece of steaming meat fresh off the stove, so juicy it's dripping right onto the floor. Typhon takes a bite, her cheeks flushing from the heat. She's hooked, taking her time to savor every bit of that flavor. She finishes the meal and shouts it's delicious, drooling with starry eyes. Typhona leaps up, calling it the best meal ever. A confused universe thinks she's exaggerating but offers a new dish. Typhona stares, shocked by what's on the plate. 410. Typhoon brings a seafood feast, raving about the meaty shrimp and tender mollusks before licking her fork in pure satisfaction. The crowd craved the girl's food, but the universe knew their fire was too intense to cook kebabs this perfect. He keeps grilling seafood, reminding himself to use coals over flames, but that's not the real issue. The universe credits the fire and forest spirits for the world's best barbecue, thanking everyone for the epic teamwork. The boys step aside as the forest and fire spirits tell them to remember him. Fire vents about humans thinking they control her, while Forest misses their barbecues with Mr. Universe. They both know the truth. Merging spirits boosts power and unlocks new skills, like fire and forest spirits providing warmth and food. Spirits clash when teaming up. Don't force them, ask for their cooperation instead. Using his spirit taming to reconcile, they became inseparable friends. She tells him to open wide. The universe gapes as she smiles, forking food into his mouth. Typhon asks if his cooking is tasty, and the boy nods to the girl while chewing. The taste was still off. To the universe, this lake moss was a prime steak. Suddenly, the boy spots a poster. A poster shows a man in a raincoat holding a fish next to a crowd. Above them, a leaderboard ranks the catches, with first place hitting a massive 70 kilograms. The boy felt like he'd snapped the photo. Typhon, plate and fork in hand, called to the universe, and the boy answered. The universe smiles, prepping her real Mosin. Confused, she asks if it's a miracle. The universe corrects her, it's real, but this lake hides something even better. Mocking the heroes, a boy asks if they'll catch anything, bragging that even a mosquito bite is lethal. To show off, the boys bet on how he'll die, drowning or. Winner of the argument gets Typhon. More join the game as the girl glares while the universe slips away to the lake. Staring into the water, the universe greets the spirit after ages, while the boy asks to stay there again just like before. The water reacted to his words. A face forms on the water, the lake spirit, smiling warmly at the boy. The lake spirit asks the universe if it called, announcing his arrival as the boy smiles back. The lake spirit prepped a feast but warned the fish was deadly. One snap summons the meal and the boy gets the message. He walked away as onlookers asked if he'd quit. The universe snapped in delight. Bubbles rise as the lake erupts into a violent whirlpool. A massive fish splashes out. The universe accepts Mason's catch, leaving Typhon hyped for the meal while the others stand frozen in shock. Standing nearly twice a man's height, the massive Amazon confronts the hero as the shocked crowd erupts in questions. The boys mocked his bizarre catch, but he ignored them, knowing spirits were the real secret. Typhoon crossed her arms, praising the hero for being so cool. He grips the fish as she jumps for joy, while a crowd of girls in swimsuits rushes them from behind. Girls swarm the guy, flirting and calling him a hero for catching the giant mouse, while Typhon watches with pure disgust. The massive catch weighed hundreds of kilos, and the guys immediately hailed the fisherman as a hero. They piled on the flattery, claiming they never doubted him, but he saw through their fake praise and glared. The boys jokingly asked the universe to share too. The boys grab the fish and knife, dragging Mason back, but Typhon spots them and barks a halt. The girl points a finger in a rage, demanding to know who let them eat that. Typhoon demands her prize from the universe. The boy suggests sharing the massive haul, but she shuts him down. She snaps at them for mocking the universe before the fish split, but the boys just stare back, totally clueless. Ashamed, the boys looked away from Tiffin. They knelt, apologized to the heroes, and swore it wouldn't happen again. She calls out their fake apology and demands they bow lower in perfect sync, and the boys obey. Tiff demands a perfect apology before meeting Amazon, but he just laughs it off. She demands the apology again, hands high. The universe watches, stunned by Typhon's sharp tongue. The new poster shows the universe and Typhon, with a massive 100 kg Moza front and center. A carriage is prepped for the trip. MC sends Tiffany ahead, but a sudden voice stops her in her tracks. The beach kids bid the heroes farewell, vowing to spread the legend of the mysterious universe. Heroes board the carriage and wave goodbye as the sun sets. The universe explains it only grants fish skin. Typhon's disappointed because she's human and hates skin, but the boy knows people love eating it. He stashed his record-breaking catch in a magic freezer, and she cheered, finally feeling true joy. The universe smiled on their final stop, and the girl looked at the hero, smiling back. Typhoon rests her head, eyes shut. The girl thanks the universe as they keep writing. With the sun rising, the boy points to the carriage bed, it's time to sleep. The boy realized they're being hunted. Staying in the carriage risks exposing them as the stolen hero cards, shocking the girl. Typhoon tells the boy she's safe anywhere with him. Universe eyes the road and suggests a field, but the boy remembers a village from his demon-slaying days and redirects them to Aiden's well. She pumps her fist and cheers, they're heading straight for Aiden village. Past the silent houses, a forest path leads to a mountain well where a horrific sound echoes from the depths. Aidan crowds swarm the streets past rows of statues. A poster features a self-proclaimed hero boy and a girl. Universe and Typhon roam the city, stunned. The boy asks if they've arrived, while the girl smiles at the massive crowds. The pair spots a hero statue, but the girl's shocked to see the boy's face under its boot. The base reads, "Great hero and fool of the universe." She asks. Tiffany called it terrible, insisting the universe wasn't like that, but he closed his eyes and dismissed it as a misunderstanding. Fate pointed ahead, but she just pouted and turned away. A peasant bumps a girl, apologizes and mutters about a well as he leaves, while she looks down. A cocky village boy craves fame as a self-proclaimed hero. Typhon is horrified, the girl hides behind Universe and Universe glares at the crowd. The boys confront the group. A man with a cane and headscarf recognizes Universe, who recoils to reveal Typhon looming behind him. An old lady points her cane at the boy, asking the crowd if they remember this fool. Reality itself denies it, but she flashes a toothless grin, confirming it's him and he's actually sober. The old woman scowls, claiming the Universe enraged Lady Idun's spirit, while the hero's village exploits draw a massive crowd. Universe asks to stay, but the old woman snaps. Lady Aiden's in a rage, the well's dry, and harboring a criminal like him would doom the village. The old woman promises a meeting with Mrs. Aiden to cheer her up and conquer the universe. The boy fears a misunderstanding, while Typhon watches from the shadows. Peeking behind Universe, Typhon realizes this isn't her dream hero. He starts flexing, but she grabs his cloak in horror. Her hopes shatter, the man she hates most is standing right there. Universe asks for a meeting, but Grandma snaps, calling him insane. The village looks to the old woman for leadership. She asks what they want, and they admit the universe's last help was no hero. Rubbing his chin, the hero tells the peasants that handing the boy to Idun for her preparation might just save the universe. The hero scowls, questioning the sacrifice and vowing to toss the universe aside like a rag. An old woman offers shelter, but first, it must face Lady Odin. A group scales the mountain. A lantern bearer leads our hero, guards carry the village chief, and Universe and Typhon trail behind. She asks the universe if they're coming. The boy looks at Typhon. She senses they mean trouble. Smiling, the boy tells Typhon to stop. Edon's just a spirit and they're only here because he failed to explain one thing. Typhon gapes in shock. The old woman's light reveals a well topped with a wooden temple, surrounded by statues and posters of a hero holding a girl. Eerie noises echoed from the gloomy well, paralyzing the crowd. An old woman shoved Universe forward, ordering him to approach. Universe stared silently at the well. The boy drew closer as Typhon watched on, wordless. Noise erupts from the well, freezing everyone in shock. The crowd watches in terror as a black hand and long-haired head emerge. Something is crawling out of the well. Hair masks her face, a single eye glaring with rage and terror as she reaches for the crowd. Grimacing, she reaches out, mouth agape, hair wild and eyes completely vacant. She screams and the boys bolt. This black-haired girl needed a hero, but now she's aiming. He turns, shrieking in horror. She tackles the hero, pinning him down. The crowd screams in terror as he thrashes beneath her. She pins the hero with one hand, winding up to strike. Something pummels the hero's face as he screams for help. Terrified, the old woman begs Mrs. Aiden to stop beating the hero, pointing at the couple and calling out the foolish universe. She stops the beatdown and chants the universe's name over the unconscious hero. Eden turned with a sinister grin, finishing the boy's name. Universe and Typhon watch Odin. The lady ghost lunges and a terrified Typhon grips the boy's shoulder. Mrs. Idun beams, welcoming Universe back like a gentleman. The girl lunges into his arms, leaving Typhon jaw-dropped and her crew frozen in disbelief. In the past, heroes sought the well spirit's power to slay the demon lord, but the assistant Ugavers poisoned the well. Well spirit Lady Idun is furious. 500 seeing the hero, her rage vanishes. Lady Odin instantly vows eternal loyalty. Back in the present, she glares and shouts his name. Aiden lunges at Universe, but the boy doesn't flinch, standing his ground. Typhon shouts and charges to help, but her gaze suddenly shifts. The girl watched Mrs. Aiden hug and greet Universe. Typhon is stunned. Lady Ada looks like a little girl with gill ears and a short bob. Dressed in a kimono, she speaks in the third person, overjoyed they've finally reunited. Hero snaps back and flinches. Lady Ada reveals she never forgot the universe, while a livid typhoon demands to know how she dares to embrace him. The villagers watch in stunned silence. Trembling, the old woman asks if Lady Idun truly doesn't hate the universe. Mrs. Odin denies it, claiming she loves the universe. The old woman is worried because the hero said otherwise, but Odin is ready to set the record straight. The hero's party stops at the well. He commands the spirit to appear, but only silence answers. Fuming at being ignored, Brabin takes poison from the scarf girl, while Universe joins as their fifth member and porter. Hero poisons the well, scolding the universe for being late, just as a furious Mrs. Idun crawls out. She attacks while he just defends, begging her to stop. She drops a bribe, he refuses again, and the universe is left totally confused. Night falls as poison ravages Lady Eden. As she weeps, she warns Universe that the village wells are next. Looking miserable, the boy apologized for the hero's actions. He didn't dare ask for forgiveness, just one favor. She asked what he wanted. The universe reached skyward, summoned spirits, and asked the girl for help. Lady Eden looked up and waited. Fireflies swarm Mrs. Idun in the dark. She realizes they're spring spirits, tiny fairies that surround her and instantly purge the poison from her body. To Mrs. Eden, Universe looked like a fairy tale prince. He reached out his hand, telling her it was finally time to go. She grabbed the prince's hand and stepped forward. Miss Aiden and Universe clasp hands and soar skyward, locking eyes. The locals erupted in rage at the hero's actions, while Mrs. Aiden pitied the worker. Still clutching the boy, the girl demanded to know why they didn't believe her truth. Mrs. Aiden lifts the girl's brow, revealing a mark, the hieroglyph for good. The girl starts glowing, light pouring from her small body. Residents shield their eyes as Lady Idon's mark hits level 4, while the girl beams, finally finding true happiness back at the university. Lady Idon raises her hands, screaming about her surging power. The villagers freeze as the well behind her suddenly erupts like a geyser. Bystanders watch in shock as every well in the city suddenly overflows. The crowd cheered for the hero who cheered up Mrs. Aiden, though some joked she was just enjoying his misfortune. Meanwhile, Raven tried to slip away. Lady Idon shuts down the rumors, telling the elder she's not after the hero, she wants the whole universe. She claims being near the universe brings her infinite joy that never runs dry. The crowd bows to Lady Edon. He's glad the confusion is over, but suddenly someone grabs Universe's hand. He turns to see Typhon hugging Universe from behind. Blushing hard, she pouts and looks away. Surprised, the Universe asks what's wrong. Shaking, the girl answers. Typhon grabbed his shirt, looked down shyly, and said she didn't mind at all. The village head returns to Universe and kneels in apology. Stunned, the boy awkwardly tells her it's fine. The old woman smiles, hailing Universe as their master and hero for saving the village, and welcomes him home. The leader leads the boys to the hotel, but the boy looks back at Ms. Eden, sitting calmly on the well and staring at the sky. Mrs. Ada can't leave the well, so the boy smiles and promises to visit before leaving town. Miss Idon smiles sweetly, forgiven by the universe. A girl in a kimono greets the couple, warning they're the only guests since the hotel isn't officially open yet. She leads them in, boasting she's the best. Typhon scans the room and starts spinning. She tells the hero about the hotel's indoor and open-air baths. Suddenly, Typhon steps onto the balcony and looks down. Typhon asks about the pools, the boy suggests a swim, and he's all in. They find a wood-lined pool steaming with heat. Relaxing in the tub by the perfumes, the boy says he loves it there. He thanks the spirits for their hard work as they splash in the water. Universe spun around, intrigued. The boy sensed someone approaching. Towel on her head, she struts into the bath with a grin, catching him off guard. Universe snaps it's a men's bath, but Typhon says the women's side is too lonely. Finding him alone, the girls join in. Surprised, he agrees as Typhon slowly dips her toes in. Submerged in the water, the girl feels her fatigue vanish. The boy notes it's been a wild day and she agrees. Tiffany admits she was terrified of the hero because he looked like. She claims the hero's aura is a total fake, and the boy stares ahead, processing her words. The universe claims humans and spirits see things differently. Typhon glares at the boy. She leaps up and points, hunting for the fake hero. Near the bath, a boy with a swollen, beaten face sits on a chair while she rests beside him. The boy kicks her, demanding she work faster, and she obeys this fake hero. Whispers spread Mrs. Eaton wrecked him and the hero's secret was out. The girl wiped the fraud's face, then suddenly froze. The resident grabs the girl, telling her to turn back. She stays silent, but the beaten hero snaps, screaming insults at anyone daring to challenge his status. The boy confronts the fake hero. Why defend someone who insulted Ms. Eden? If she's offended, the well runs dry. Raven leaps up, screaming he'll evict their families using his parents' status. The boys keep walking, but the girl looks back one last time. Fuming with rage, the boy cursed everyone near the well. The well erupts, launching the hero skyward as he screams for help, terrified he'll freeze to death. Typhon and the university watch the hero soar over the water, joking about the view and taking a swim. Wiping her hand, she cheers. She's lucky she won't have to marry a hero and wash his back. The boy just smiles. She snaps out of it, shivers from the water, and offers a back rub, catching him completely off guard. The universe called her out for refusing to support anyone. She blames the hero's spirit abuse, but the universe is fairer. She thanks her friend for even the smallest kindness. 564, Typhoon smiles, offering help again. The boy looks up, considering. He asks for a light touch and she agrees. As she kneels to rub his back, Typhon notices the boy's skin is covered in scratches. She recoils, shouting about the boy's back. The universe doesn't blink. Typhon eyed the boy's mangled back and demanded answers. She asks about his fool scar, and Universe reveals he was just bait against the demon lord, forced to trigger traps and endure their abuse. Hearing his tragic past, the girl's face. Typhon couldn't take it and hugged the boy from behind out of pity. She wept, asking why he'd help others when his own wounds were far deeper. The universe smiles, explaining it only wants to protect its spirits and inventions from pain. The girl listens, still crying. She steadies herself and decides to wash his battered body clean. He spun around, stunned. No one had ever explained how the universe worked before. The girl and her helpers scrubbed the boy down. He laughed uncontrollably, begging her to stop because it tickled. She sat beside him, smiling. Back first, the boy's tired but recharged. He preps the futon before Typhon returns. One line out. Usually if the user provides a number, they want it kept if it's part of the script, but the instructions say no prefixes. Do not add. 7 robed beauties surround the guys on the futon. Hailing the universe as their savior, the girls vow to protect it tonight as one playfully offers her gratitude. Shocked, the boy recoils from her hands. They drop him to the floor and surround him. One girl bites the belt off his robe. She eyes shyly and unbuckles his belt, exposing his chest and stomach. She touched his stomach, and the universe closed its eyes, begging for salvation. The girls scatter, bolting away from the boy. The girl falls from the window. The typhoon's magic wipes out annoying women. The boy fixes his cloak and thanks her for the save. Tafona blushes under his gaze, clutching her collar. He tries to speak, but she cuts him off. Typhoon bowed low, offering her raw power and asking for guidance. She smiles, blushes, and looks his way. The universe always protected Typhon, and now she's returning the favor all for him. He stares in confusion while she shyly turns away. Typhon leaps onto the futon, asking to guard the boy so he can sleep soundly. He snaps, asking if she even understands. She nods and pulls out a book. Phoenix finds the night duty rules. Step 1, lap pillow. She closes her eyes and invites the boy to lie down. The universe knelt. Flustered, she checked her book for the next move. She checks if he's okay before moving on, and he silently confirms he's fine. She decided to tell a bedtime story. Typhon wondered what she meant, but she just began while he watched from her lap. Grimacing, she relays Fuckey's ghost story. At night, the music room portrait starts acting strange. She hit her limit, squirming with awkwardness and hating her bad storytelling. Then it clicked. Eyes shut, he asks if night stories are ghost stories, then stands up and slams his head. She pulled away, swinging her numb, cramping legs as the universe watched and smiled. He turns to find her snoring. Smiling, he notes she's out like a kitten. The boy flashed her a smile. The universe finally felt true joy. As he grabs a blanket, the sleeping girl whispers her thanks, happy to be near him while he silently sets the futon. The universe blanketed the sleeping girl, thanking her for her sincere words. Late into the night, the boy bids his friend goodnight. 606. Morning hits, the boy wakes up to find everything flipped upside down. Universe hits the porch to find Hafen napping on a broken wall, surrounded by fallen leaves. He lifts her so gently she stays asleep. The village elder approaches with a quiet good morning. An old lady saw the couple's happy date yesterday, and now renovations are going perfectly thanks to Mrs. Eden's hard work. Pointing ahead, the female spirit ordered the workers to set up signs. Typhon wakes. The girl stares ahead, stunned by the impossible sight before her. The chief praises the art of unicorns saving Lady Eden, while the old woman notes the peasants have always drunk from her well. The leader reveals the town's joy hinges on Ms. Eden, and she finally gets it. Grandma bows to the hero, declaring she's done with him. Now she only kneels for Lady Eden and her favorite uniats. The universe cringes and tells him to stop. The leader smiles, saying Mrs. Eden sent her to remind the universe to visit. Heading to Ms. Idona's, Typhon and Universe spot new city posters. Universe looks just like the famous Earth spirit Nuru Kiara. Typhon calls the spirit popular, but the boys reach the well. Mrs. Eden stands across from them. The girl waits for Lord Universe with a sword in hand. Aiden reveals it's a legendary blade from the well and tells Universe to take it. Typhon reeled back in shock and spoke. The satellite shared a legend: pull the sword from the well and water flows. The blade turns to liquid, rumored to slice the moon in one swing. Lady Odin closed her eyes and confirmed the girl. The universe questions the gift, warning that if the hero takes it, he can never return Lady Adon's sword. The lady reveals that after she refused to hand over the sacred sword, the hero poisoned the well again with an even deadlier toxin. Shocked, the boy asks, did the hero poison Lady Idon's well again? To survive and save the village, the spirit must sleep at the bottom of the watery well. Standing at the edge, the lady reveals she dried the well on purpose. The heroes stay silent as she smiles at Adon. After watching him yesterday, she's convinced he's the one meant. Lady Odon panics, claiming the sword and begging Zidovik to never let it go. Typhon feels for the kid and urges him to accept the gift. The girls pestered him as Universe gripped the sword, inspecting it closely. The universe smiled at Lady Aiden, vowing to protect the sword she gave him. Mrs. Aiden relaxed, tilted her head, and smiled at the boy's words. The well spirit smiled, saying it's over, then vanished into a magical light. The boys watched in confusion as Typhon called Mr. Ada. Ada rose and dissolved into the air, smiling as she promised they'd meet again. Typhon shouts the sword vanishes if she lets go. The universe screams for Lady Odon as the spirit smiles. Dissolving into light, Eden thanked everyone, glad they met, and said her final goodbye. Fona reached out, yelling for her to stay, they're friends now. The boy gave Mrs. Idon a tragic look. A girl's scream echoes through the mountains as the sun vanishes behind the peaks. The boys head to the village as Typhon wipes her tears. Universe follows silently until a voice asks why she's crying. The girl turns, shocked to see Lady Aiden by the well. Typhon calls out and the spirit shudders. Typhon points in shock, claiming Adon died. The boy watches stunned, as Adon jokes she felt dead yesterday but is now thrilled to meet the universe. The lady's spirit cheers. She's finally free from the sword's well and can now travel between any well she wants. Lady Idon thanks the boys for the sword quest, while a betrayed Typhon fights back tears. The universe cheers, peace is restored. A thin man nervously taps his screwdriver, stunned. His mentor Gats is free and now the minister of the universe. This can't be real. Gatsunon finally earned his spot, but the universe ripped it away. Now he's fixing his car and the failures of every false hero. He pressed his face to the invention, vowing to make it better. This time, the grill machine will work. By the river, an archway welcomes King Vazwemp. Guards scrap spirit weddings, but the hero's festival rages on to celebrate the demon lord's defeat. Goatson clicks his tongs as guards debate the diplomacy. He thanks the king, a gray-haired hero sporting a thick mustache and a loud beach shirt. Gyukun serving tonight's feast, their best homegrown ingredients fresh off the grill. Vasvamp grins, it's the final masterpiece from Hitsfuna, the world's greatest magic engineer. The host hears the grill complaints and steps up. Tongs in hand, he keeps it simple. Load the food, flip the switch, and serve hero-tier kebabs instantly. Shocked, the king stands. The man dares him to test the tech himself. He cranks the handle and realizes it's an ignition system. The gear explodes in the king's face. Everyone freezes as he screams, engulfed in fire before plunging into the water. Vassals accuse Got's servant of trying to kill Magdid, but it's all a setup. The king turns the handle, collapses, and the healer steps in. He denies the hit, claiming his device worked perfectly at home. Why fail now? Angry spirits below reveal the truth. Gatswin stole credit for launching the universe. Enraged, the fire and forest spirits snarled. Forgiveness was impossible. The vassal lunges, screaming for justice. Hatsavan collapses in terror, but a sudden shout calls the men away. Wiping his face, the king admits even geniuses like Gozan fail. The vassals turned back and called for the king, while Gozoan apologized, insisting the king wasn't at fault. 657. Gotsun kneels, blaming the master who kidnapped the spirit princess for the invention. Shedding fake tears, he claims the machine erased the king's murder evidence and The king stunned, didn't you claim you invented this grill and engraved your name on it? The man freezes, his lie is officially busted. The hero stood, demanding he stop the disgrace and confess. Guts was stunned by his old friend's words. Braben glared at Gotsven. This incompetent minister was a liability, he had to be eliminated immediately. Biting his nails, the suspect remembered the glory days. After slaying the demon lord, he and the hero feasted daily and torched entire universes for fun. Gotsun reveals its Breben's order, shock the crowd by torching them with a barbecue grill. Gatsun shouts in defiance. Brevin demands answers, but Gatsun promises he'll see soon, grabbing the hero's neck and yanking him close. Gotsvin whispers his plan, take the fall to infiltrate Vamput's inner circle, but the hero is totally clueless. Gatswin hyped up the king's youthful outfit, but the king just watched in silent disappointment. Brayman and Hatsun start their act, loudly hailing the kebab as the world's greatest invention while faking total amazement. The hero claps the king's shoulder like a buddy, claiming even a dandy knows the truth. Another guy copies him, fake cheering, keep it up. Unfazed, Vasvamp calls them cruel, claiming they hurt people without remorse and treat arson like a hobby. He kept mocking them, sneering that the world-saving hero and top magic engineer were actually unbearable jerks. The king finishes, leaving Brebun and Hotsven floored. Instead of arguing, they just shout vague formalities. The king left, announcing the asylum seeker was caught. He's calling an urgent joint barbecue to discuss the news. Vasvamp's wiping this meeting from the record. He's reassessing their alliance and cutting ties. He's officially done with them. Master Gon Brabin screams the mechanic's name, his face twisting in pure rage. Fuming, he blasts Hatsun for being useless, swearing he should have handled everything himself from the start. After resting, the blonde notes the festival saved the engineer's job, trailing off as he weighs the punishment. Brabin demoted Gotsvan from Deputy Minister of Magical Devices to a lowly assistant. He was stunned, he never saw a demotion coming. Party's over and Hatsuan mopes down the street. Walking alone, he remembers his son's dream to be a minister. But after a brutal 2-rank demotion, he's too ashamed to tell his family the truth. To keep the festival quiet, he hides the truth and clings to his seat until the next reshuffle. Fired up and confident, he's going all out to reclaim his spot. He enters his office in high spirits, hearing muffled voices behind the cracked door. He peeks through the crack to find a total joke. 2 men are solemnly swearing in a Mr. Universe doll as their new minister. Smiling, they claim they always believed in him, calling him way better than some Goswain. Enraged, the peeper storms the office, blasting everyone for dumping trash and shouting that a doll doesn't belong here. They spun at the noise, recognizing him instantly. Mocking his demotion, they called him assistant minister to see if he'd accepted his new rank. Terrified, the Goths demanded to know how their secrets leaked. The cold truth, One of them snitched to the nun who witnessed the banquet. An attendee reveals he's been demoted while Mr. Universe rose to minister, proving that doll ritual was just prep for the big meeting. Snapping, he roared that he was still the boss. A man bursts in Dex Goxtven and calls him a loser as he screams. The new manager enters and immediately demands respect, ordering the guy on the floor to address him by his official title. 692. April's relentless beatdown drops the former minister, leaving him screaming on the floor as she mocks his pathetic weakness. Fuming, he retreats to plot double the revenge, but his rival just mocks his effort with a smirk, brushing the threat aside. 694. Apo knew his subordinate was doomed. He asked, would Mr. Universe ever promote someone who mocked him? The answer was obvious. The boss calmly orders a beatdown, claiming even the universe wants this abuser crushed. This settles the score for every insult to his master. Now, he mockingly tells them it's their turn to be goth-sugging. Gatsamon saw his fate mirrored the universe. Desperate, he roared, vowing to do Apilla's dirtiest work. The manager barks insults and kicks him out. Those angry shouts prove the former minister has officially hit rock bottom. A convoy rolls past, hauling mechanical horses with joints creaking in rhythmic time. King Vazvamp seethed in his carriage, disgusted that such vile trash could ever be called heroes. Reaching the border, the servant nervously asks the king to check something nearby, his voice trembling despite his polite tone. The ruler looks out in shock. His soldiers have spelled out that the universe is to blame, so he can finally return. Vazavamp flipped from shock to pure rage. 704, their zero remorse pushed him to the edge. He couldn't take it anymore. Driving on, he spots a sign for Lake Ricado. The enraged king orders the owner to wipe every trace of those insults. He nervously claims it's all been cleaned up. 707, Vasvamp spots a sign showing a young man and Princess Typhona. Shocked to see the boy as the universe, he's blown away. Suddenly, the man beside him asks, you know him. The man hypes the boy as a legendary traveler with a story kept right here. A stunned king demands to hear the incredible tale. He's a master chef and world record Masav hunter who just crushed Brabanda for the top spot. Hearing the story, the king sighed. The man was still guilty of kidnapping Princess Typhon. Master calls the man's character pure nonsense, while the girl jokes they're like a loving couple. The princess shuts down anyone mocking universe, taking every insult personally as a girl in the crowd admires their beautiful bond. The king eyes the boy and princess's painting again. He smiled, remembering the young man landing that massive mackerel. The duo's traveling by carriage. She asks if pond water is safe, and he says it's usually fine. Spirit lands have pure water that restores your strength for the journey. The princess snaps awake, wondering if this cosmic war fuel tastes good, but she's stunned when he reveals he doesn't even need water to get strong. Typhon gets an idea. Nobody else ever tasted this water and she's dying to try it herself. 721, let's hit the water. He said there's something near the road where he stopped. 722, the source of souls. Thrilled, she insists they go now to taste that magic water. The Typhons ride their mechanical horse trans across the universe. The girls parched and desperate for a drink from the fountain. The spirit's hiding and it's way harder to find now. Even during the Lord's battle, it took forever to track down. 726, the universe's gaze locks onto a distant, statue-like building. 727, no one could tell which statue it was. The weird statue is a perfect landmark, but something else catches his eye. The ancient temple intrigued him, inscribed as the Cathedral of the Source. While the MC processes the changes, Typhon greets someone. The building's doors creaked and shrieked open. A weary nun politely welcomes them to the Spring Spirit Refuge, but her calm shatters the second she spots an unwanted guest. Recognizing Universe, she shakes with rage, demanding to know how he dares defile this sacred ground and why he's here. 734. He mumbles to himself while his friend smiles and asks for fountain water. The hostess hesitates but lets them in, telling them to make themselves at home. The wary nun warns Universe to respect the spirits. Typhon shields him, vowing he'll never let it happen again. The princess challenges the universe, but a woman interrupts, leading them to a fountain decked out for a massive festival. She approached the swirling water. It's drinkable, but she's warned, drinking it has a dangerous cost for her body. Typhon's fuming, this wasn't her plan. The woman mockingly tells her to just blame the universe. She says he visited with the heroes before and used a pinned-down spirit for target practice. Ask the hero himself, he'll confirm it. The woman explains the spirits vanished, leaving the town empty. Desperate locals even built a cathedral to beg for their return. These spirits are shy, so the nun waits. She decorates the place, hoping at least one returns. Tearful, the girl claims it's over now that Mr. Universe appeared at the fountain, but the boy's friend insists it's just a misunderstanding. 743. Tears streaming, she spins around and demands to know what Typhon meant by misunderstanding. What she saw next blew her mind. Typhon turned to find the boy vanishing beneath a massive swarm of ghosts. Stunned, she screams about the massive spirit swarm in the spring. The spirit veil was nearly invisible, barely showing the figure's outline. Pushed to her limit, she screamed in disbelief before collapsing into a deep sleep. The duo rushed over, instantly realizing things were bad. They brought her to the room and tucked her in to sleep. Burning with fever, she deliriously mumbles that her friends won't abandon her, terrified of being alone. 751. Waking up, Typhon hands her water, claiming it's normal. She thanks him and sips. She dreamed the boy was surrounded by spring spirits, but it wasn't a dream. She admits that dream or not, she's thrilled he can summon spirits. The nun apologizes for her earlier harsh words. He hesitated, claiming there was nothing to worry about. It's too late to travel, so the lady invites them to stay the night. 757. Dead of night. Everyone's out cold, but Universe is wide awake, sitting up in bed. He slipped away quietly, careful not to wake anyone. 759. He heads to the water garden, surrounded by sparkling decorations. Fearing punishment, he quietly stripped the decor. He called it nice, then went silent as he pulled off the next piece. 761. The light was blinding, and he knew it would hold the creatures back. Someone's been watching him from the shadows this whole time. The universe spots the newborn observer and tells her not to fear. Nothing else shines anymore. He reached for the spirit girl, but she recoiled in fear. He promised to help her escape. Eyes shut and trembling with fear, she bites his finger. Eyes open, she sees the bite. His hand is still there, and his slight smile catches her off guard. 767. The universe asks if she's calm, telling her not to worry, it's not her enemy. 768. As it turned out, this little tiny one knows how to heal, and it healed the boy's wound just by licking it. She looks guilty, but he promises he's not mad at the kid. The joyful girl asks to be his friend. He rests in the universe's palm as spirits swarm, glowing in the dark. Surprised but honest, he tells them he's glad they're here, but they don't need the daytime act, better to meet one-on-one. He instantly regretted it, a massive line stretched out before him. He breaks into a laugh as the spirit swallows him again. A stranger watched the show from the window. She's a nun, so no peeking, the spring spirits are already gone. Surprised, she whispered they missed the universe, even though they should hate it. Typhon brags that spirits love him for his kindness. The girl turns to the boy's friend. She asks if she's the wind spirit, and the girl apologizes before finally revealing her name. The woman asks for the name again, recognizing it as a princess's. Typhona shyly confirms she is that princess. Stunned and impressed, the nun lets out a scream so loud it echoes outside. 782. Hearing a scream, Universe rushes over, only to find his friend standing there confused, twirling her hair. The mistress drops to her knees, begging mercy for failing to recognize the true princess. In the spirit world, they're pampered and highly respected. Hierarchy is king. Most put individuals at the top, and Typhona explains why that's totally fine. Mesmerized by spring spirits, a girl asks if they love the universe, then shouts her love and dives headfirst into its embrace. The kneeling girl stared at them both in total shock. She investigates why spirits adore him, especially since the antisocial spring spirits won't leave his side. The universe ignores her, but Typhon answers. His floral tenderness envelops her, drawing her close like a butterfly. The girl bows her head again. She begged him for the way to return the spirits home. The universe asks why she needs it. She looks up at him, eyes full of sorrow. She explains the forest is being cleared for a cathedral, and soon the woods will be replaced by a city park. She shouts that the spirits will lose their homes and begs for help. She can't face this alone. He stutters that he understands, making everyone smile, especially the cathedral mistress. Next day, Universe reveals fountain beasts hate direct light, only reflections. Strip the decorations. The nun thought the sparks would be a hit, but she was wrong. Tiffin finishes cleaning and offers to scrub the fountain, but she's told the spirits have it covered. Mineral springs self-purify over a decade. She starts to speak but stops cold. 799. The universe told spirits to sit on its finger to purify water, instantly sprouting mushroom caps that trap the spirits inside. He gleefully shouts it's time for fun, pointing exactly where to fly. Spirits unite to purify the fountain, filling everyone with pure magical joy. She shrieked at the water. Now clean, she cursed her own childish stupidity. She grew up in this shelter, claiming she knows spirits best. Typhon comforts her with a gentle head pat. She cheers him up, vowing she's doing her best to understand the spirits. She agrees. The girl continues, noticing the host treats spirits like humans. Others see beasts, but Typhon smiles. Spirits are happiest when treated as equals. The nun asks if she'll ever match her master. When the girl asks who she means, the nun reveals her teacher is the universe itself. Watching from the sidelines, the boy sensed something was about to go down. The princess admits the wind spirits love this boy way more than her. The dark-haired woman calls their teacher special, and the girl agrees he's truly amazing. Their eyes lit up like the entire universe as they proudly called him their teacher. The boy carefully slices with his knife. Typhon spots him and closes in as spirits swarm, watching his every move. She spots him carving wood and excitedly asks for a piece. She asks if he's building a platform for the local spirits. The universe confirms it, just like his last visit. A nun interrupts, claiming the hero did everything for the spirit, but the girl shuts her down. She asks if it's true and he starts sweating. 818. A holy woman claimed he was a monster who abused spirits, but back then she denied everything. She bowed low, apologizing for her ignorance. Confused, the universe nervously told her to look up. Head down, she says she doesn't deserve it after how she treated him. Mid-speech, she panics. She and a neighboring nun both screwed up and now she's paralyzed. Confused, the others demand answers. They burst into the cathedral's upper chamber. The cloth drops, revealing a massive statue to the crowd. Typhon gasped, realizing the statue was the hero who saved the nation. The boy questioned her, so she set out to uncover why it was built. Competing with the rival cathedral, they're building hero statues to see who lures more spring spirits. They showed King Vaswamp their work to pick a winner. Confused, the girl asked how it all came to this. The truth was tragic. Without spring spirits, the temple collapses. Their solution: share a hero. The hero statue can't summon spirits, leaving her clueless. Typhon just grins to him. It's simple. She boasted she could sculpt the entire universe. He blushed, shocked his own statue was the answer. She promises the prince arrives in days and offers to show him the hero's statue. Typhon doesn't hesitate. If they're summoning spirits, he's all in. The nun finally agrees. The princess rallies the team to finish the job and asks the spirits for their support. A joyful squeak signaled its agreement. Hyped, the girls build a statue for Mr. Universe. The universe refused to build it. No one honors themselves. He was clearly rattled. Jaws hit the floor as they bombarded him with questions, stunned by his insane knowledge. He agreed but felt awkward about his own monument. She decided to investigate Eden, and he told her it was her call. 838. Tearing up, Typhon asks if his feelings are wrong since the guy is so cool and admired. Time to crank up the cool factor. Accepting his fate, he starts carving his own statue. She thanks him, but he shrugs it off as minor labor. She's absolutely beaming with joy. She's stoked to team up. Remembering Typhon's promise, he finally relaxes. If she's happy, everything is fine. The universe forged this body, and everyone hailed it as perfection. 845. They confidently declared they'd take out the head themselves. They kept trying to fix it, but every rework just made it worse. Exhausted and failing, their tempers finally snapped. A boy visits, but Typhon orders him to leave. On his way out, the boy mocks that filing Typhon's face would make it tiny. She screamed inside. Her creative beast refuses to wake. The statue isn't an idea, it's the stone's true form freed by the master. She sighs and the universe listens in silence. Later, he calls her and suggests using the earth spirits. She's ecstatic, her mood instantly soaring. Shocked they understood, she suggests building their own universe together. She adjusts her glasses, flicks her coat, and strikes a killer pose. Looking regal, she took charge, demanding a crooked nose and chipped teeth for total realism. Almost finished, she called the resemblance wonderful and spot-on. A nun enters calling for a snack break, and the group gladly stops to refuel. Spring and earth spirits feasted on tea and sugar, loving every bite. Even Typhon was happy. The abbess approached the boy for a serious talk. He hesitated, mumbling an incomprehensible reply. She aimed to master spirit talking like her teacher. She thought spirits were only for scaring, but now she nets them like insects for help. The young master does nothing, yet they still help him. She wonders, how can she be just like him? He listened deep in thought, but he insisted they be used. Spirits love helping, but they don't trust just anyone. Treat them like tools and they'll never help you. They aren't wish-granting servants, they're allies to build the future together. He just wants every spirit to smile because he truly cares about them. He finishes, leaving the crowd moved. Even a tearful Typhon asks why he's so kind, calling him an irreplaceable ally. The universe got confused and told them to shut it. He politely asks them to stop, but the girls just laugh, leaving him pouting. One city over, a massive statue of the hero Breben towers over the city. The founder cathedral is a sanctuary for souls, but a disappointed cry suddenly echoes. 873. The nun panics. They built a massive hero statue, but the spring spirits still haven't returned. She's a wreck, muttering that losing means she'll never become a true nun. A noise behind the door, then a voice summons her. She composed herself and told him to enter. The girls arrived with this week's donations, asking him to accept. She thanked them, promised a spirit's blessing, and sent them off. Suddenly, she dumped her pouch and snatched a single coin. Right then it clicked. The statue was dull, but she knew a radiant glow would draw spirits like moths to a flame. Next, she'll demolish the spirit shelter to finally eliminate that meddling holy mother. She's claiming the land, the wealth, and the power. Her dreams of having it all are finally coming true. The nun eyes the jeweled chest. Patron money dried up, leaving her with nothing to pay the monks. Why risk everything, her life and the saints who finally found peace? A letter on the table warns, pay the debt by the deadline or the head nun and 5 saints are sold into slavery. The hatted man praises the sale and hands her a massive chest. Seeing the mountain of coins, she was losing it with joy. She'd be a district legend, and the hero's shining statue would drive the crowd wild. The nun tossed coins in celebration. With King Vasvamp attending tomorrow's statue unveiling, she knew victory was hers. Today, the winner is decided. To crown the true temple, the statue showdown starts now. I give King Vasvampu my word. The ruler evaluates. The massive first statue at the Source Cathedral has a beautiful face, but that's it. Her spring spirit power is vital, but the great nun says it's already handled. 895. Unveil the figure to reveal the true hero, and spirits will swarm to smash that statue. A young nun interrupts, apologizing and claiming the whole group worked tirelessly to build that statue. Her rival laughed, calling her a liar since she's always alone, leaving the girl devastated. To end the feud, the king orders them to unveil the statues on his signal. The girls geared up. They signal and the canvases fly off every sculpture. The statues were already coming into focus. The king stared, absolutely stunned. A statue at the ball is drenched in perfume, leaving even its creator, a nun, screaming in shock. Vasvamp instinctively knew this sculpture was dedicated to the universe. Surprised, she asked if he knew the teacher. He nervously stammered he didn't know him, but everyone the ruler questioned praised the kid. Beaming, she agrees His Majesty was right. Her teacher is incredible. No spirit beats the teacher's fame. Crowds even swarm his statue just to see his image. The king hears her out and realizes every spirit shares Princess Typhon's smile. The wicked nun lies, calling it a fake and claiming spirits can't touch the false hero statue. 911. He calls her a liar, but she insists she summoned the spirits herself. How else would there be so many? She warns this disgusting act will make the spirits hate her. The wind picks up and everyone freezes, gripped by dread. The nun went silent, listening intently. An idea hits her and she smirks ironically. She starts her speech, pointing to the forest and claiming it's crying because spring is furious. Suddenly, spirits erupted from the statues, catching the eye of everyone at the grand unveiling. The nun cheers as spirits swarm her hero statue, claiming it all for herself. Show's ending, she shouts for the spirits to get ready. She orders the false hero universe statue destroyed and sends a spirit swarm at the enemy building. 920. They ignored her orders, hurling the Brabant statue with a deafening crash. 921. Seething with rage, she clutches her head and screams they destroyed the wrong statue. She screamed at them, begging them to stop. She screams for help, but the statue keeps crumbling. Her future was literally crumbling before her eyes. Stones slam the ground and buildings, shattering into pieces. The building collapses, the roar sending panicked neighbors flooding into the streets. She stared at the destruction, frozen. It's finally over. Every building has crumbled into a pile of dust. Nuns drop to their knees, begging the Holy Mother for forgiveness and a return to her soul's refuge. She smiles, welcoming them back anytime. Now, they must live in harmony with the spring spirits and follow the master of the universe. They all agreed, but another Holy Mother cut them off. Swaying menacingly, she screams that no one's taking her nuns. She ramped up the threats, vowing to sell her into slavery and abandon her. A stranger appears and orders us to move. 3 thugs arrive with chains, led by a dark-haired man demanding the saint pay back his massive debt. The shouting woman swapped in other girls as the targets, ordering them to clean the Holy Mother too. He boasts about his house full of beauties, hoping they'll get along while he makes bank. He tells the women they'll love it here, but when someone says there's no rush, the leader glares, wishing they'd just shut up. King Vasvamp steps in, ordering the men to release the girls. They're stunned to see the king himself protecting them. They nervously ask what he's doing, but he ignores them. He flips the script, demanding to know why they're here and what they want with those people. He sucks up to the king, presenting a document left by the holy councils as a pledge. The ruler scanned the contract and confirmed every detail. These saints are from home altars, not cathedrals. They can't pledge for this covenant. Panicked, he wondered, if this isn't the Holy One, where's the real one? He turned to the second Holy Mother. He yelled, it's her, shocked to see an old woman instead. He accepted his fate while the others snatched her. Stunned, she tried to protest. Caged on wheels, a man mocks her as an old woman. She must work off her debt and they don't care about the cost, only her punishment. Everyone watched the carriage speed off with her. The king tells the maiden she's the obvious winner, and she joyfully thanks him for the news. Vasvamp and the group head for the shelter of spirits. He loves the simple beauty and wants to stay, while Typhon and Universe eye the cracked door. He reveals his delivery mission, then whispers a warning. They're being watched and need to escape. She laughs at his words, ignores the Universe's warnings to be quiet, and calls for the Holy Mother waiting behind the door. The girl tells the nun they're leaving to continue their honeymoon, catching the guy totally off guard. Laughing, the woman admits she suspected they were more than friends, and the princess confirms it with a smile. The dark-haired girl admits she wants to bond with the spring spirits, craving their kindness and most of all genuine trust. Blushing, she smiled confidently, certain the second try would succeed. She asked the universe what it thought, it just smiled back. He saw the spirits sense the Holy Mother's bond, and the princess realized everything. The beings embrace the girl as she wonders why her teacher won't answer. The nun waved a sad goodbye as the guests boarded their carriage and set off. Two girls approach her smiling as the spirits wave and fly off. The universe barely cracked a smile. He's glad she found real friends, not just acquaintances. She's finally happy. They stop. The boy says the capital is close, time to put on the concon. The plan leads through the capital, but wanted posters are everywhere. It's crowded and dangerous, so the girl suggests disguises. Instantly, the princess appears in a hat, glasses, and mask. She says her ears are stuffed, but the boy calls the outfit weird. Realizing she needs a change, she swaps to bright dancer gear and asks her partner if she pulls it off. She says the music's drifting from the nearby town. The universe remembers the hero's roaring festival. He chose the path and told Typhon. She cheered. It was time to start their journey. He told her to slow down, and confused, she demanded to know why. He warns her dancing will blow their cover, then asks why she even changed clothes. She pouts, muttering he needs a change too. 975. Dancing with a guy in a work shirt looks weird, and with posters of them everywhere, everyone knows they're together. Forget getting caught, the princess just wanted to see her crush's new outfit. She shot him a sarcastic smirk. She happily sent him to change and picked his outfit. Universe silently agreed. Typhon's feeling herself, jokingly asking where the cool guys hang out, hinting at herself. She styled Mr. Universe as a chic trumpeter. He hates the flashy look, but she insists it's trendy. Her weird plan, he plays trumpet while she dances. She insists it's not suspicious, but he just bellows her name. He banned her from even thinking about dancing. They reach Vasvampu's capital just as the Hero Festival's dance competition hits its peak. Entering the city, she shouted for joy, absolutely loving it. Typhon amuses himself, telling his companion to dance. The universe realized she wasn't listening at all. The crowd spots the girl dancing on the carriage roof, instantly hyped by her skills. They cheered her as the best, but as he drove, a wanted poster terrified him. The stranger eyes the crying man, scans a passing cart, then glares at Universe, making him panic. He feared exposure would end in disaster. It worked out perfectly. He backs her, calls her beautiful, and tells her to keep pushing forward. He sighs in relief after nearly getting caught, but the princess peeks in and begs for a dance. He admits he doesn't know how. He tells her to look around. Their wanted posters are on every corner. Shocked, she asks if it's really him since the sign looks like a total stranger. Universe is baffled, but she insists he looks more like Brabanda in the picture. Typhoon refuses to leave, jumping out to rip down the posters until a young man stops her. 996. He explains to her that if she does this, she will break the law because removing wanted posters is a serious matter. He reluctantly allows her to dance, but the main thing is not to touch the posters. She agrees but warns him, dangerous streets aren't worth the risk. Better to stay in the shadows and avoid suspicion. She leaps back onto the roof, ready to dance. 999. He smiles as the princess rushes over. If she says so, it's done. The square's in full swing as the main event honoring the heroes kicks off. The host announces the top dancers are ready and calls all challengers to the stage. He explains the rules and the prize. Universe realizes the capital is obsessed with dancing. The first challenger hits the stage. The host calls her cute, joking she's already won the beauty prize. Suddenly, the universe spots Typhon on stage and realizes things have gone way too far. Boasting about her beauty and skills, she declares she's taking the dance crown. Stunned, the announcer calls her gutsy for claiming the win as the crowd erupts. He demands to see her dance and calls for his musicians. Stunned, she asks who he's even talking about. He snaps back like it's scripted, no music, no dance. Every performer needs a beat. Musicians drop epic electronic beats, and the youth are obsessed. 10:10, Typhon storms off stage. Her friend shouts her name and she sadly calls back. She asks him for advice. The dance competition requires a musical assistant and she needs to find one fast. She told Universe Kunu she dreamed of dancing in the real world. She thought marrying the hero would make it happen, but he forbid it. Tearing up, she begs to finally perform today and asks him to find a way. Wind spirits love to dance, but Princess Typhona's status kept her still. He dragged her to the city of dance, banned her from moving, and called her name. 10:15, instruments didn't matter. He promised to do whatever it takes to get her on stage. Her words hit home, she instantly signs up to join. She returns, they're told to wait. He nods and starts thinking while Typhona gets pissed. He apologized for the scare, but she brushed it off. To cheer her up, Universe vowed to never stop fighting for the spirits. She pauses, then smiles, declaring his words are nothing like the hero's promises, proving her absolute faith in him. A true hero stops at nothing for world fame. That's why he demanded Typhon sacrifice everything for him. 1021. Between the perfectionist hero and Mr. Universe, the spirits pick you as master because you're nothing like him. Her partner once asked her to dance. She goes to sit, but the guy's warning is too late. She hits something sharp and screams. The duo investigates and finds a gramophone. The universe scanned the device. It's solid, reliable, and ready for use. 1025. He reads the dual inscription and the device suddenly speaks. Turns out they're tree spirits, and they ask the couple if they know doodle. He knows the sound because he's a carpenter. The spirits are shocked. Everyone used to dance to this, but now kids just use metal boxes. The boy asks for an encore and they're hyped to play. They asked if he's a rookie since the kids didn't even let him show his skills. He denied it, insisting he just wanted her back on stage. Intrigued by the spirits, the typhoons called them cute. She's dying to dance to their music. She invited them to dance, promising a blast. They hesitated for a second. They finally agreed, remembering her offer to join. Universe wipes the gramophone. A boy enters, summoning Typhon to the stage. It's time. The host announces the finale as the last wind dancers hit the stage to a roaring crowd. The duo hauls a gramophone onto the stage, counting their steps as the confused crowd stares. One guest recognizes the device, recalling his father once owned one. The crowd gasps at the ancient gear, mocking the girl for not using a synth, until a stranger snatches the mic to speak. She shuts him down. Just listen, it'll be a killer show and the legendary DJ Universe is playing. The crowd erupted in confusion, and the gramophone guy was already starting to panic. The spirits cheered him up, promising to handle everything and join the fun. He smiles and Typhon beams back with a sincere thank you. This was the moment she'd been waiting for. Too early for thanks, the universe was just getting started and the count was on.